Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Chaosium Inc. Week rocks on, as today I'll be diving on in to take a first look at RuneQuest, the Red Book of Magic, from the aforementioned Chaosium Inc. This is written by Jeff Richard, Greg Stafford, Steve Perrin, and Sandy Peterson. This 128-page hardcover is available now. You can get it with a free PDF for an MSRP of $34.99 if you order from Chaosium Inc. or one of their partners. Of course, you can grab just the PDF alone over at DriveThruRPG for $17.99. All that said, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got the Red Book of Magic for RuneQuest. Do want to mention my friends over at Chaosium Inc. were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. These days, it's very important that you know that. We're also not going to look at each and every page of the book, but I do want to give you a very good feel for what you're going to find inside the Red Book of Magic. So let me get the shrink wrap off, and then we'll take a look at the back. The Red Book of Magic is the ultimate guide to spirit and rune magic. Written by Zabur, the Sorcerer Supreme, this indispensable arcane tome contains all known spells of the Gloranthan cults and shamans, making it an essential aid for players and game masters. That's going to tell us what this contains, but we're going to be diving on in to take a look ourselves. So we've got quite a few artists who are involved in bringing this to fruition. Do you want to give them credit? I'm not going to read all of their names because, to be honest, it would take a little bit of time, and I guarantee I would mispronounce a vast majority of them, I'm sure. But still, do want to give them credit. We also have some additional writing credits here, too. Want to make sure that these folks get credit also. So let's jump on in. What is this book? This book contains every rune and spirit magic spell known at the time of publication, including many otherwise unpublished spells. However, this collection is not thought to be comprehensive across all Glorantha. New spells may be discovered, particularly in far-off lands such as Kralarella, Pameltella, and the East Isles, or in the possession of strange and exotic cults. All references to RuneQuest herein refer to the RuneQuest core rulebook. Many of these spells are specific to a single cult, and access to them is available through that cult. Refer to Cults of Glorantha for specifics. And then it discusses what is magic. Now, one of the cool things about RuneQuest, if you're not overly familiar with the Bronze Age fantasy role-playing game, is that all characters can have access to magic. So that doesn't necessarily mean that every player character is going to have access to magic, but it is a possibility. So we don't have particular classes in RuneQuest. So we don't have characters who are simply only magic users or only martial characters. Now we get a nice mix, and you can create the sort of character you wish to play. So it looks like we're going to get a breakdown of the descriptions of the spells, such as their runic association, boosting it, spell durations, increasing the chance of success, ritual practices. So then we get into rune magic. Rune magic is power granted by a god to a worshiper to act on a deity's behalf. When one casts rune magic, the caster wields some fraction of the deity's power and acts as the deity in the mundane world. In this way, the deity can act within the confines of time. The more rune magic used in the world, the more the deity manifests. So we get a discussion of rune magic, and then we start getting into the various different spells. and how many POW points, how many magic points, I should say, it costs to cast. And of course, we see what the runes are. I'm wondering if these are all the spells that have been included in the adventures to this point also. I'm kind of curious if these spells are across the various different editions of RuneQuest 2. Interesting. So as an example, we've got Chaos Gift. The caster adopts a random chaos feature from the chaos features table. If a successful divine intervention is used as the spell is cast, the caster can choose which chaos feature to obtain. The spell is subject to the lunar cycle. It gives us information about the various different cycle periods. Claws. The target's hands become clawed, doing 1d6 damage plus damage bonus. The claws use the target's fist attack skill, and the target can attack with both claws in one round. 5 strike ranks apart. Target gets a plus 50% bonus to climbing. Nice. This spell can only be cast on initiates and rune masters of an appropriate god, such as Odela, Raithor, or Yinkin. Consume Mind. This is a most dangerous spell. It drains the totality of the victim's memory, transferring it to the caster's mind and leaving the victim a mental vegetable. Ew. You'll also notice that the artwork throughout RuneQuest books is always really good. I always enjoy the graphic presentation of the RuneQuest books. That's pretty cool. And we get a bookmark. Let's slide that out of there. Hallucinate. Each point of this spell acts as 12 points of any illusion or combination of illusions, including motion, odor, sight, sound, substance, or taste. The hallucination is perceived only by the spell's caster and any in a magical mental link with the caster, and is completely undetectable to anyone else. A second sight spell shows that the magic affects only the caster. See the illusions sidebar on page 59 for more information. Illusionary Sight. This spell creates a visual illusion that registers on light-sensitive organs. The image has 3 size per point of the spell, thus one casting completely covers a volume the size of a small child. If 1 point were used to create the illusion of armor on an adult, only the adult's legs, for example, would appear to be covered by armor. Leap. This spell allows a fully encumbered person to make a jump up to 6 meters high or 6 meters long. Each point stacked adds 6 meters to the jump range or allows the user to lift 6 additional size while jumping. Madness. If the caster of this spell overcomes the POW of the target suffers the effects given on the Madness effect table. The severity of the result depends on the degree of success of the caster's attack. Once the spell has been cast, its effects cannot be dispelled. As you can see, there are various different ranks of power for these spells. So some of the spells we have are very powerful. Some are relatively minor spells. Ride River Horse. This spell, which can only be cast at a headwater, summons a river horse, a spirit with a horse's forebody and the hindquarters of a fish. It can be mounted and ridden on its trip from one headwater to another. The river priest must have a clear idea which headwater to travel to. If not, the river horse takes its rider to a random headwater, possibly in another land. The entire trip never takes more than a few minutes. Anyone can ride the river horse, but there is a limit of 10 passengers per rune point stacked. This is a one-way trip. A return requires another spell. smoke cloud, slash, shattering, shape metal. Speak with scorpion. The target can converse with any type of scorpions. You can also see that the content for each of the spells, in most cases, of course, as I start saying this, we get stones to kill chaos, which has quite a bit to it. But it seems like the majority of the spell entries are pretty concise, pretty to the point. I always like that. Summon ghost, summon guardian, summon fish. Sunbright. This spell creates a 60-meter radius circle of light around the target of the spell. If the target is unwilling, the caster must overcome their POW. This light gives the effect of full daylight and so affects creatures such as cave trolls. Nice. Turn undead. Turn blow. For the next 12 strike ranks, this spell reflects all damage done to the caster back onto the attacker. Strike ranks is order character's attack in combat. So here we got into spirit magic, I think. Yep, there we go, spirit magic. Spirit magic is the most basic and common magic found in Glorantha and is practiced in one form or another by nearly every Gloranthan culture and religion. This is the sort of magic all characters will normally have access to. To cast a spirit magic spell, the caster concentrates upon specific spirits they have made a connection with. This is easier with a focus, and temporarily alters the spiritual energy currents to create an effect. This is done through the temporary expenditure of one's POW, expressed as magic points. For this reason, spirit magic spells are of short duration, usually 2 minutes, and drain a good deal of energy from the user. However strong mortals may be, they lack the POW to make long-lasting changes in the basic structure of the universe. Rune magic is performed with the aid of a god and does not have that limitation. So some of these spells would be detect enemies, detect life, detect trap, detect undead, extinguish, which puts out fires and flames, Farsi, food song, heal, hotfoot, jumping, light, meteor swarm. This can only be cast by initiates of the Crater Maker's cult. It causes stones to fall from the sky. If the casting is a special success, the stone hits its target. On a normal success, the stone lands randomly within 1d6 meters and may hit another individual. Damage done by the meteor swarm is affected as cyclic magic by the phase of the red moon. And it shows us the different phases of the red moon. All right, so we'll finish up with that spirit magic. Then we get an index. And that is a look inside the Red Book of Magic for RuneQuest. Once again, this 128-page hardcover with PDF carries an MSRP of $34.99, or you can grab just the PDF over at DriveThruRPG for $17.99. Of course, I will have a review of RuneQuest, the Red Book of Magic, in the very near future. Nice, very cool. I always like volumes that have magic spells. Always find it pretty cool and very useful for the fantasy role-playing game that volume might be for. Alrighty, that is it for this time out. If you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell. It'll not only let you know when I share videos such as this first look, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com For the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are not going to find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Be sure to join me once again as Chaosium Inc. week continues. I'm Jeff McAleer, and of course, until I see you next time, here's hoping all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.